Hey, what's up, guys? I was a little bored, so let me go ahead and do a little Harvey Wallbanger for you here. I just had my first one, and I'm gonna say it's kind of pleasant. Trying to do the official measurements here. Got your OJ. It's basically just a screwdriver with a little bit of this liqueur called Galliano, which is in this retarded-looking bottle right here. And then vodka. Just a little bit of this stuff on top. It's got a real strong taste to it. It's kind of like minty and herbally. It's really weird. But, yep, there's the Harvey Wallbanger. Check it out. Hey, what's up, everybody? Jaythestingray here again. I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. And I wanted to go ahead and get a little list up here before it got too late in the year. This is going to be my favorite horror movies of 2010. And 2010 wasn't a very great year in horror, I would say, but here at the tail end of the year, I have caught some things that I was pretty pleased with. But I've actually got 11 on my list here because one of the ones on my list is a documentary, and I didn't know if you want to consider that a horror film, great. But if not, I put 11 on here just in case. So if anybody wants to be a stickler with me, I've got an extra one on my list. But at number 11, I have Legion, and a lot of you guys may have seen that one. I think it recently just came out on DVD. Probably guilty of the worst trailer ever for a film. The trailer for that film made it look totally terrible, but I'm glad I did see it in the theater because it was pretty enjoyable. It's got the guy, Lewis Black, I think his name is, from Sling Blade, and he was in a few other things, Jarhead, and but you know what I'm talking about, the kid with a really bad southern accent. But yeah, he's the main star in that one, and that is a pretty decent film. I think it's some really bad CGI in that one, but pretty decent film, and the ending's not that great either. So, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. And then at number 10, I have Splice, and I know a lot of people are kind of arguing if this is a horror film or not, but I've got it on here as my number 10 pick. I know a lot of people enjoyed it, a lot of people hated it. It seems to be a movie a lot of people are debating on whether or not they like it or not, but I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was all that great, as a lot of people are putting it over, but you know, Sarah Polley's in it, and I'm a big Sarah Polley fan. And, decent flick. I'd say check it out if you haven't seen it. Yeah. Number 9 is Devil. This is another film a lot of people are divided on. I know a lot of people hate this movie, and a lot of people like this movie, but I like this movie a lot. I was kind of surprised. I'm a fan of M. Night Shyamalan's work, but I know he produced this film. It's going to be a series of films he's producing from his production company. But yeah, I thought it was a really solid flick. I thought it was a kind of a twist on an old idea, and basically these people, I think it's 4 people, are stuck in an elevator, and in order to pull that off, it's you got to have pretty decent actors to be able to pull a film like that off, and I thought it was executed really well. It really keeps you guessing throughout the film, and I'd recommend checking that one out as well. And number 8, I have My Soul to Take, and that's another one a lot of people are going to disagree with me, having it on my top 10 list, but I really enjoyed this movie. I saw it in regular definition, standard definition, or whatever, 2D, whatever you want to call it. Not the 3D format, because I've noticed that a lot of the 3D films just don't look all that great to me. That's not really worth the extra money, and I'd rather watch it in 2-dimensional rather than the 3-dimensional technology. But I enjoyed My Soul to Take. I thought it was a throwback to some of Wes Craven's other films like Scream, and a lot of people are shitting on this movie, saying it's whatever, like a teeny bopper movie or whatever, which I'm not going to disagree with that, but these are the same people that put over Scream, saying that Scream was the best thing ever, when all they are is teen horror flicks. Just, a lot of pop culture stuff in there, and I thought Wes Craven did a great job with that film. A lot of different ideas I haven't seen in horror films before, and just a decent film all around. I was guessing up until like the last few minutes of the film on who the killer was, and I had a lot of fun with it. I know a lot of people seem to shit on that film, but if you're gonna put over Scream, you really can't shit on this one all that much, because it's kind of the exact same thing, just 10 or 12 years down the road, probably more than that. Scream came out late 90s, so 13, 14 years down the road. But Wes Craven just kind of throwing something out there and seeing what sticks. And number 7, I have La Horde, and that's the French film. And everybody, if you're a zombie fan, you got to go check that one out. Great film all around. I think it finally got a U.S. DVD release here 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe. But definitely check that one out. And I think there's a Canadian Blu-ray of that, and there may be a Region B Blu-ray out of that by now. But definitely check that one out, and if any of you have seen the Blu-ray, let me know how it looks, as I'll be interested to pick that up if it's out on Blu-ray, or if the Blu-ray looks decent. And number 5, I have Cabin Fever 2. I really enjoyed this film. I gotta say, the first time I watched it, I didn't like it as much, but I watched it again. It was available to watch instantly on FearNet, and you could watch it for free and all. And I watched it again for Halloween, and I really thought it was a cool flick. It's a movie that really doesn't take itself too seriously, and it knows what it is. It's just a cheesy gore fest basically, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool watch, cool film, and not like the first one at all, really, which is probably why a lot of people hate it, because they're fans of the first film. But I thought the first film was okay, and I think this one's okay as well. But they're two totally different kinds of films, and a lot of great jokes in Cabin Fever 2. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Number 4, I've got Paranormal Activity 2, and I know a lot of people hate that film as well. But from what I've noticed, the people that shit on that film have not seen it. So what I would say is, before you talk shit about a film, go watch it and then decide for yourself whether or not you enjoy it or not, because I think this is actually better than the first film myself. There's a lot of great scares in there. I had a lot of fun with it. My wife and I saw it, and we were both on the edge of our seats the whole time. And we had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it, and it really plays right where the first one left off. This one starts, so it's kind of cool in that aspect. Well, it's actually a little bit of a prequel and a sequel to the original film, but. Yeah, check it out. They're probably going to keep going with these films, and they're going to get shitty like the Saw series, but it's making money, and people want to shit on the horror genre, and I'm like, if you want to see good films come out in theaters, you got to go watch movies theatrically. Don't go download the films. The sole purpose for these movies to come out is to make money, and that's nothing new. That's the same way horror films were in the 80s. When they were making countless and countless slashers, and they were still making money. They wouldn't have made those films if they weren't making money. So they're all out to make a buck, and whatever makes money they're going to put out. If watching a turd in a punch bowl for 2 hours is going to make money, that's what they're going to put out there. So support what you like, and don't watch what you don't like. So that's the best thing I can say. But seems like most of the movies these days are marketed towards teenagers, and I'd say mostly young teens and teens, just because they seem to be the ones going to the movies. Everybody else is kind of just sticking to DVDs and I guess their illegal downloads. But I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm not going to put any moral whatever on there. But that's why the horror film genre has suffered, is because of downloads. But anyway. Number 3, I have Never Sleep Again, The Elm Street Legacy. That's an awesome film. I picked that one up, the first run. I think they're doing a second run of DVDs now. So I definitely recommend go check that one out. Just go look it up. You can go to the website. You can get it off Amazon. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Definitely one of the best documentaries about horror films. It's like 4 hours long or something like that. And when I got mine, I got a signed copy, signed by Heather Langenkamp, a signed poster. So that was cool. For like $20, you can't beat that. And this is something that you can pop in and watch anytime. So I really enjoyed it. Number 2, I have Rec 2. Now that is the Spanish sequel to the original Rec film, which they remade here in the U.S. as Quarantine. And Rec 2 doesn't have a release here in the U.S. yet. Now I'm guessing the reason why it is they're making a sequel to Quarantine 2, and they're waiting until they release Quarantine 2, then they're going to release Rec 2 on DVD here. It's just what I'm guessing, because that's what they did with the original film. But I picked up the Region 2 Blu-ray, and it looks great, and it's a great film all around. I think better than the original film, and I love the original film as well, but this kind of has a different aspect, a little different element, supernatural element than the original film had. I definitely recommend checking that one out. And at number 1, I have Black Swan, and I just caught that one a couple weeks ago at the theater. And great watch. I recommend that to all of y'all. Even if you're not horror fans, go check that one out. A lot of people are trying to argue it's not a horror film, but that's what they want you to think for the Academy Awards, because, you know, horror films are stigmatized and they're trying to get an Academy Award. So, you know, it's a thriller. So, you know, Silence of the Lambs is a horror film. Black Swan is a horror film. So, check it out, everybody. It's a great watch, great acting, great directing. Same guy that did Requiem for a Dream and Pie and The Wrestler, Darren Aronofsky, something like that. I'm not pronouncing his last name right, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, 2010, not a very productive year, but you know, hopefully there's some other stuff that I'll get around to watching. A lot of stuff hasn't been released yet. Like there's a film called Monsters that I really want to check out. I think it's getting a DVD release here in January, February. I'm definitely going to check that out. And a film called Red, White, and Blue I want to check out. And it's just a lot of stuff that's not getting released here for one reason or another. But you know, hopefully we'll be able to check it out here in the future. But yeah, that's my list. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.